everybody, and welcome to Getting in Gear. I'm Jacob.
I'm Dylan.
And we're here at Flipside Music in Denver, Colorado. I almost said a zip code.
Oh, yeah, get real specific.
But my zip code, not the one for this store. Yeah, we're here today talking about Strymon pedals.
Yeah, some of the recent releases in the smaller format.
And then we've also got Reverend guitars today. I've got a King Bolt HH in metallic cherry.
And I've got a King Bolt H90, which features the 90 in the neck and the humbucker in the bridge. This one is in punch purple, or purple punch.
Yeah. Getting crazy with the names again.
Yeah, you'll be punch happy after you get your purple punch.
These are stunning guitars. This red is amazing. That purple's amazing.
This one's super light. Is yours as light as this one? Because this one feels like a lot lighter than some of the previous ones we've had.
Yeah, but it's still, I don't know, this one still got some heft. Like,
yeah.
It feels like a guitar.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. It doesn't have that toy feel or anything. No. But, yeah. No, I'm very impressed with this one right now. It's definitely a slightly different aesthetic, too. But I really do like I like this kind of having the more natural color on the bottom with, the actual, more, having the distinct top with the binding, I think that makes everything pop really well, so.
Yeah, like the natural back.
Exactly, yes, natural back, yeah.
White binding.
This one even's got a knot. It's a little knotty.
Yeah, I was noticing that.
Yeah.
I love guitars that have unique
birthmarks
features.
Yeah, I've got there's a few things where I have, a few guitars I have where you can obviously see through the finish, and it's always cool when you have a guitar that has a very distinct marker on it. A natural marker, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, these things play really great. They sound pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah,
all
both
through our
necks too. Yes.
Rev D20.
Our trusty Rev. Yeah. It is interesting too though, seeing the purple in the camera. It's that is obviously a bit darker. This is just a little more plum. Mm-hmm. A little bit more plum purple. But yeah, looks great.
And then we've got a Sensei in...
Oh, the sparkly one?
The burgundy. Something.
Yeah, it was like a burgundy...
Merlot.
Yeah.
Metallic Merlot.
There you go, that's a good name.
Bordeaux.
Oh, Bordeaux.
Something
I like
Bordeaux.
your name better, actually. I like your name better, yeah.
Well, maybe they'll do us one next year in Metallic Merlot.
Yeah. So I was just saying, I like that better. That flows.
But yeah, all the new Reverends we've got in have had these pretty incredible tops and colors, and I've never really been a Reverend guy, but this is kind of hitting the mark. Really.
I've always liked the Reverends, but I would say, for some reason this one feels different to me. I feel much more satisfied with this one, right off the bat.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So I don't know if this is just if they did do any actual changes. It's hard to tell, but
I think there was
good.
A lot of design changes for 2026.
Okay.
With the naming convention being more simplified and
the name actually on the instrument now, which is a big change.
Yep, and they moved the this is real small stuff, but they moved the Reverend logo into the center. So it's centered in that circle.
I know that's weird. Yeah, that always bothered me before, but I guess I always figured it was because of the tuning peg.
Well, and they did go into the tuning peg.
Yeah.
But it's more...
But it's actually centered in the mass of the headstock now.
Yeah, and I believe they redesigned the headstock slightly. They hired somebody to redesign that slightly. The body's
a little sleeker, and the neck feels just a little slimmer.
And the bodies and just the whole thing got a
little touch up.
Little touch up.
It's almost like these are V3s. Anybody who's familiar with Reverend might remember the almost Dan Electro style ones from the early days. Those ones were pretty interesting. Then you had kind of the ones we've had for probably, I guess, the last 10-ish years or more. I do kind of feel like these are almost, a new version. Mm-hmm. Kind of like a version 3 update. Or I guess it might even be more than that at this point.
And they really nailed it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is one. Yeah. I mean, honestly, like I said, I've always liked the Reverends, but I don't know that I've been as impressed with one right off the, because I just saw these today, I was out this last week, so I didn't know we ended up getting these, so I just picked this up 5 minutes ago, and I've been very impressed with. Jacob did too, technically. Yeah, we both just grabbed these, and they're awesome, so.
Yeah.
Very impressed.
Yeah.
And surprised too, just, We've had them for so long that I wasn't really expecting any surprises anymore, if that makes sense, you know?
Yeah, but that's nice to be surprised by an established company.
Exactly, yeah.
That they're innovating and continuing to improve.
Yeah, well, to me, like, when that happens with any... Yeah, I was just going to say, to me, that's always a good sign for any company, because in this day and age, it's easier for companies to actually pay attention to what their customers want. And so, like, now I feel like it's not that there's no excuse, but the excuses are much more diminished than they were for previous generations. Because before, you literally had makers, and, like, who knows if the guys actually making the thing ever even really got to have substantial conversations with the end users. Mm-hmm. Now, all that stuff's almost a direct pipeline. So I think it's cool, like you said, it shows everybody's paying attention at a company when this stuff shifts. So
totally, because then you've got other brands who seemingly have their head in the sand.
Exactly,
and they're like, "Well, we stick to tradition," and it's like, "Well, it's okay."
And that can be perceived as not. That can also be perceived as not caring, maybe, or not paying attention.
Yeah. Because there are people asking for things, and that's what's nice about the smaller builders too, is they can listen, they can pivot,
they can change things. They're not locked into tradition,
and they're like, well,
the shackles of tradition.
The thing you're asking for, we're already 3 years ahead on what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
So in 5 years, we'll
like,
make your change.
We'll do it, but just sit tight. yeah.
Because we're already planned out that far.
It's on the way, but like you're gonna have a whole lot of changes before.
Yep. And then we're checking out all these Strymon pedals today. I only have experience with the EC1 and the Fairfax.
Yeah, because I was going to say you did a fair number of... Well, I know you've done a few videos for the EC1. Because I would say you're probably the most experienced one here with that, which...
I really like it.
It's kind of the El Capi Mini.
Yeah, but it is different.
It is.
Because it's the EP2 instead of the EP3.
Yeah, which I don't know, because the EP1 I think was the only one that had a tube-driven preamp stage. So I think that's why most companies usually zero in on the 2s and the 3s, because...
Well, the 2's very rare.
Yeah, the 2's are rare. But yeah, I was going to say, I think the solid-state part of the preamp is easier to kind of replicate than trying to replicate the tube one. So.
Mm-hmm. And the one that they had specifically was, they can't verify it, but it has a signature in it that looks like Cesar Diaz's.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
And so they think he modified it, that particular one that they got.
Okay, very
cool. That they modeled this pedal after.
I didn't know that. That's a cool connection. Yeah, because Cesar Diaz, he did a number of his own effects. For anybody who's not familiar with them, he did an incredible treble booster that's worth like an insane amount of money now. Like that's actually probably my number one thing that like I wish I would have just... Because I know we've talked about this before when you're like, I wish I would have just purchased something when it was the price that it was and not have to look back and be like, damn, like after you watch it go up like 4 or 5 times in value. So the Cesar Diaz treble booster is one for me. That was always like that. It's just few guys make it and make variations, but none of them actually like match up to the real deal.
And Cesar was guitar tech for Stevie Ray Vaughan and Bob Dylan and many other people.
Yes. And he was...
so he kind of knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. Well, and he was a big... To me, what was cool about him, he was a big proponent of, like, dialing the gear into the player, not just not forcing the player to adhere to the gear. Mm-hmm. Like, he was usually good at kind of getting these guys to consider options. Because, like, some of them would get kind of... Especially with Stevie, I think some of the story with him was he was always trying to get him to kind of steer over towards a treble booster rather than always doing the tube screamer thing. And that was actually where that circuit even kind of came from. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, interesting dude. Look him up. We won't get into that now. We'll stay a little more on this, but very interesting guy. So.
But yeah, and then we've also got the Ultraviolet, the Brig, and the Cloudburst in Midnight.
Yes.
Edition.
Is that, I'm assuming, a limited release? I didn't end up looking.
I think they're going to offer both. As like
two colorways.
Two colorways, which I've kind of noticed that with some of the bigger companies that they are offering
becoming a thing.
A black colorway, thinking of Walrus specifically.
Yeah, they have the whole black line. Yeah,
they've now released everything in black. None more black.
I wonder. Well, I guess what are your thoughts on that? 'Cause, I mean, I have like my retail thoughts, and then I have like my normal regular person thoughts.
I guess I hadn't really thought about it, but if you're someone who loud colors and wild designs either turn you off or confuse you, or I know there's a condition where if you see lots of little spots, you can get physically ill.
Oh, yeah.
And so possibly
or like visual clutter.
Maybe from like that perspective, having an all uniform board is helpful as a player.
Okay.
Because like for me, I like the wild, crazy pedals. I enjoy the artwork. I really like.
Well, and I kind of like letting the companies and the artists that make the stuff explore that. Like, I like to let, because, like, and I think you're in that same boat of, like, a lot of the companies you like, they go out of their way to add an aesthetic to the pedal, and, like, that's part of, because, like, I would say, like, especially Old Blood Noise, like, you can look at one of their pedals and, like, I know you can't actually hear it, but you can hear it. Like, it kind of gives you a vibe that you can really bond with. And, like, to me, that's why I guess I have been a bit, not really perplexed, but just curious as to why, like you said, all these companies are kind of offering these more monochromatic options.
Well, and even on the Old Blood tip, they offered a more simple version of the parting because they got a lot of feedback that it was too much.
That's fair, because that one does have so much going. That one's almost like that one's like a Where's Waldo, but where are your settings?
Well, what even is this? What's going on?
That one's a fair critique, or not even critique, but a fair preference. But yeah, I would say like,
and maybe you get distracted, so you're like, well, I just need something that is simple, clean. These are too bright. Even this violet is too much.
Yeah, it's pushing the limits.
But,
For me, I guess it boils down to, I don't mind the color because then it makes me identify the pedal quicker, if that makes, especially in the moment. And I would say, like, right now, I'm particularly happy with the color palette on my board. Because for a while, I was like, oh, this is boring because everything was kind of gray or black. But yeah, I guess it makes sense with what you're saying, too, that there are certain people that want it maybe a little more uniform.
And maybe there's that, too, of like, well, I have an almost all-black board, but this bright blue
stands out like a sore thumb.
Or so I'd really like a black Cloudburst.
That's a good point.
Midnight.
Yeah.
Cloudburst.
Yes. There you go. Yeah. It's a midnight cloud. Actually, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess I'm sure we do, but I was going to say I'm trying to think of a midnight Cloudburst. Usually our Cloudbursts are very afternoon type events.
Yeah. That seems like a more Oklahoma type thing.
Yeah. Oklahoma.
But there's the Cloudburst for you.
Which is,
shimmer. And the Fairfax. I left that on too.
Yeah. The Cloudburst is a shimmer style reverb. I believe, obviously they kind of tweaked it a bit, but they kind of more or less evolved it out of the original kind of shimmer settings that they had developed for the Big Sky. And I guess I'd be curious if Angelo ends up coming out for the Gear Expo, plug for the Gear Expo. That's something I kind of want to ask him is like, is he the one that also contributed? Because he was, or at least one of the main inventors for octave shimmer reverbs.
No, he invented.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I thought I wasn't going to make a full solid claim without saying for sure. But I thought he invented it, so I was curious if he was the one that also invented it for the Big Sky algorithm. But anyway, let's see. Yeah, we can.
And then I learned that it is different from the one in the Big Sky.
It is, yes.
Because like,
but yeah, I think it was developed out of that. Yeah.
They changed the decay range, so you could go from like an actually like small.
So it's not completely over the top.
Like you can even get like a slapback.
Yeah.
All the way up through.
Yeah, which is almost diffused and infinite, so. That is really good for one trail. Yeah.
And then everything in between.
Yes. Well, I feel like, again, getting into consolidating things. I feel like that's a format to all of these, but that one specifically is if you're gonna have a reverb pedal knocking out octave reverbs or a shimmer, like it's kind of nice to have something you can immediately go to rather than having to do any kind of menu diving. Like everything's on the surface for the most part.
Yeah. Oh, I think in this one it is all.
Yeah. So like I said, that's a big, at least coming from the old Strymon, or the bigger format stuff, that's a big change. So, and actually I would say they've been kind of making that a trend lately of taking most of the things that were kind of under the hood and bringing them to the surface. I mean, I think a lot of companies are starting to do that, but Strymon, specifically with like the V2 releases, they ended up doing that.
Yeah.
So you don't always have to like open up the pedal just to get to one little thing.
Yeah, I think on these two delays, the only thing under the hood is the tap tempo that you hold for.
That sounds very nice, by the way.
Yeah, and that's just the...
Very cinematic.
And then you can turn the shimmer off.
Well, and honestly, having that decay time being reined in, you could, if you needed to have, if you needed to have it as your mainstay reverb and then switch over to the shimmer part, you definitely could. So it's not like it's a one trick pony.
Yeah, that's nice. Oh.
Yeah, I didn't know. A lot of their stuff doesn't always warp like that.
Like, I think the tap tempo on both of these is a artifact-free tap tempo. But I believe when you turn the time knob,
manually,
you can still
do that. Okay.
Yeah. Which, let's check.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, no, it is artifact-free.
Is it here, one way?
Oh, no, it does do it.
It's weird though, because like there's a spot that it's like crossing, right about there where it does it, and then it kind of backs off. Yeah, right there. Huh.
But I find the EC1 very satisfying. It sounds good. It has, like, if you turn it up to the high setting, the record head is like clean.
So you can kind of navigate it to not necessarily a strict digital sound, but you can kind of get a little bit cleaner, like a digital, or like a strict digital delay if you needed it. Because the Volante, I think, included that as well, where you could kind of, if you wanted to pull out some of that added character that you would normally get from a tape delay, you could kind of pull it back a little bit.
And I think I like the middle setting the best. I'll degrade it a little more. It's just so usable.
Well, it's fairly fuss-free, because like the last few of them that we've sold have been the guys that basically they wanted kind of most of what like the El Capi was doing, but they just wanted a strict standalone, easy, quick version of it, and that seems to be exactly what that is. So.
Yeah. Like every time I was demoing it, I was like, man, this could find a place on my board. For sure.
Well, I think it hits a good, it's hitting that like a good standard single-ended tape delay without like a lot of fuss. Like there's not a lot of other shit to go along with that, like, which is sometimes what you want. Sometimes you do want something a little bit more straightforward. So
yeah, and there's enough in there that there's some exploration without it just being a sterile one-trick pony.
Yeah, and it also doesn't necessarily force you to constantly keep tweaking it.
Yeah. And that was one thing. It was like, there's a lot in here, but when I found the sound, it was like, ooh, I could just like live there.
You could set it there, and yeah.
Well, and then
that is nice. That the way that's because it's like the little bit of, high end that's staying there from the echo is kind of hitting into the cloudburst. So it's like the tails are bright, but the incoming signal's warm.
Yeah.
It's a nice contrast. Yeah.
And then let's take a gander at the difference of these. Oh, way different.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, those repeats are much more even, too, in terms of the volume of them. Yeah. Wow. This is good, though, too, because honestly, I don't know, since those have been out, I don't think I actually have A-B'd the Brig and the EC. I've kind of tried them separately up till now, so.
Yeah, this is very, like...
It's crisp, tight, not a lot of decay.
Yeah, it doesn't really degrade.
Yeah.
And so that's the 3005 setting. And then the 3205 is emulating the Panasonic. So the 3005 is emulating the Panasonic 3005 chip, Bucket Brigade chip. And then the 3205 is two of them.
Oh, okay.
And then the multi, I don't remember.
Well, yeah, I don't know, because the, oh, no, that was the Dig. Never mind. So I was saying the Dig was basically, you had two kind of independent ones that would stack, but...
That might be what it is, because I think the Brig is the Dig's little brother, right?
Well, because they have the Brig, and then they had the full Brigadier, which was, the Brigadier was sort of like the slightly more analog sounding one, whereas the Dig was just strictly a dual digital delay. Yeah. I will say too, the Brig, it hits a really great spot of like, I guess anybody that wants like a better version of a carbon copy. You know what I mean? Like it's totally. That's kind of the spot that it hits. Like if you're familiar with the carbon copy and it works for you, then the Brig is kind of just that plus more. And I'd say it sounds better. To me, it's very clear. It's not, because the carbon copy can get a little muddled sometimes. It's a little too dark. Yeah. See, this one kind of hits everything you want about a carbon copy, but better. Or not better, but expanded.
And if the carbon copy's too dark, you just open up that filter, or carbon copy-esque setting on the Brig.
Yes. Yeah. That's quite pleasant.
It's a very like a dubby style. Mm-hmm. It reminds me of like reggae.
Well, I was just gonna say, if you tighten that up, it's kind of a reggae beat. Yep. Who knew your ska roots would come out close today? I'm just Upstroking your way to happiness. Yeah, it sounds good.
How about both? And then the Fairfax. It's a very nice drive. Which I should have maybe put it at the end, because it is a whole amplifier.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's kind of two ways to use that for sure. Well, there's more than 2 ways, but because I was gonna say I know a lot of people have been using it too with like less drive, but kind of just as a kind of at the tail end, kind of like people use the EP boost, just kind of warm up the tail end a little bit. But it is a very warm drive, that's for sure.
That's lovely.
It is really nice.
So the Fairfax is based on an amplifier from the 60s that is Champ-esque from a company called Garnet. And it's the Garnet Herzog is the name of the amp, which was more like an effect, but it was a full amplifier. It was a drive amplifier.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say
in its time.
It had it had the added drive stage built into it. Yeah.
And so this emulates analogly. This is their first. This is Strymon's first analog pedal that they've ever made.
Yeah, because even their overdrives all tend to be
digital
as well.
So they emulated analogly every component: the preamp, the power amp, the preamp, the gain section. The power amp and the transformer.
Oh, okay,
and so the SAG gives you that control over
all of the character from that.
Yeah, like the transformer, which it can go all the way up to chortly fuzz like territory. That's in the copy.
Oh yeah. I didn't choose that word; it was there.
It's not really chortling out. I guess it's chortling out a little bit. There's a little bit of that swell.
A little bit of bloom. There's a bit of bloom. There you go. I think the chortle is like on the low end. Because it seems like those lower notes are the notes that's kind of exhibiting some chortle.
That sounds epic.
That sounds really good. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to give it a go?
I do.
in a little Ultraviolet vintage vibe. Blend mode between the chorus and the vibrato. That Jimmy.
Kind of funny random thing, but it is a little odd to me that they didn't put a rate light on the Ultraviolet.
Oh yeah, that could have easily been done.
Yeah, a little strange. It's pretty easy. It's interesting, the Fairfax kind of walks the line between drive and fuzz. Like, it's kind of a fuzzy drive, but it's also sort of a drivey fuzz.
Yeah, but then you can also get like...
just kind of that little edge of breakout, yeah.
You're ready for church on Sunday.
Yeah.
For sure. Sounds awesome.
That's what I was gonna say, like that little the fact that it's hairier on the end is interesting.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, it's like, especially on those highs, you barely got to give it anything.
Mm-hmm.
And you get that, it just kind of shoots off.
And something I forgot to mention, that from here forward, they're all stereo.
Oh, yeah.
And you can go in and out with one cable to do stereo.
Yeah.
So this in stereo would be like... Huge.
Yeah. Yeah, they really do. And honestly, this isn't really, again, you know, it's not like it was overly thought out what setup we were going to do, but this ultimately results in a really fun little rig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you have, you know, a couple delays and a modulation, a nice reverb, and
a good drive, you should be set.
Yeah, you should be able to cover quite a bit of ground.
Yeah. No, it's great. And honestly, the interactions were really cool because now it kind of makes me even curious about pairing some of my more like tape flavored delay settings with shimmer verbs, because I hadn't really thought of letting the high end of one thing kind of trigger a more high end thing on another without having to necessarily come in with a really hot signal. Because like that blooming high end thing that was going on for a second was really cool.
That was super cool.
That was really cool.
In the forte mode,
Yeah.
and then we had the bright on. Yeah, I think we were in 3005 mode. We were in blend mode. Let's see if we can.
Yeah.
Oh, and then this was up pretty high. There it was. I think the high. Yeah, that had to be high also. Maybe it was magic.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, very cool.
Very cool sound, yeah.
And yeah, very cool stuff out of the Strymon mini-series? What do they call this?
You know, that is a good
The small
question. I don't know
series?
that they've... Yeah,
I know this is the A series because it's the
because of their first analog. But yeah, I don't know if they've really given the little boxes their own name yet.
But
The Strymon.
whatever they call them,
You just got to say it with a higher pitch.
the Midnight Cloudburst, the Brig, the EC1, the Ultraviolet, and the Fairfax, all great pedals.
Mm-hmm.
Like what a combo.
Well, yeah, and I was going to say the Ultraviolet was... I think that might have been the second one in the line of the smaller releases. And I got to say that is one that doesn't necessarily get brought up in the Univibe discussion as much as I feel like it should be. Because I think some people don't necessarily look to Strymon for some of those more vintage themed sound. Well, to an extent. But I was going to say that one they actually did a really good job. Because like more and more there's getting to be less options for like really good Univibes. And I would say like the vintage vibe, obviously from Jam, the Ultraviolet, and as long as JHS keeps making the Unicorn, like those are all three that are, you know, not too hard to get into, that actually do a really good job. And I would say the Ultraviolet just never really never really bubbled out to people's attention, if that makes sense. Because I think like every time, like even playing it again, I was like, that's a great vibe.
It's one of the best vibes on the market.
Yeah.
They really nailed it, especially for being digital.
Yeah, and that's what it's interesting because it has that convincing, especially when you kick the Fairfax on. Like it has that convincing, that swirl where it's grabbing kind of random harmonics and just spinning them. Like it does the vibe thing real well. So
It's great. And then that through our trusty Rev D20, and we've been using Reverend guitars today.
yes,
Both playing the King Bolt.
yeah, King Bolt H90 and then King Bolt HH.
Yep, in metallic cherry.
And we don't have the trem bars on these, but they both do feature Wilkinson trems that are on there. We just didn't grab the bars because we don't want to lose them.
Yeah, but these play great. That thing sounds awesome. These things sound great. You can get them all here at Flipside Music in Denver, Colorado. And keep posted for the Denver Music Gear Expo that's coming up in June.
Yep, June 13th.
Looking forward to that. That's going to be a good time. Reverend will be there.
Yes.
And yeah, keep posted on our socials for other shows and events that we've got coming up. And
yeah, and if you're not already watching some of the other shows that we do, we also do a podcast and we also do Maris Mondays. So if you're into ambient jams. Be sure to tune into all that stuff as well. And any of the videos we've been putting out too, if you guys like or subscribe or want to let us know which ones you guys really like, because we're trying to kind of
we're figuring stuff out.
Yeah, we're trying to zero in on what we can do well. So we want to know what you guys like
and that you like from us.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So please like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. And this has been Getting in Gear. I've been Jacob.
I've been Dylan.
And we'll catch you on the flip side. Play us out.